Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray, and thank you for watching. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, leave a like, and feel free to comment down below what you would like me to do for future anime and cartoon-related videos. Today we are talking about Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1, Episode 11, and I still do not know if it's getting split apart like Re:Zero, where we're going to get the second half of it later on, or it's just going to be all kind of in one shot, all 24 episodes. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens in regards to that matter. But I'll be honest with you, this episode didn't do too much for me. Like, it wasn't bad per se, but it wasn't great either. I felt like the best part of this episode was in like the first 2 minutes before they played the intro sequence, when Nanami was fighting against the curse, and we learned a little bit more about the curse, with a little bit more about Nanami's powers. He is a grade 1 and he is pretty strong. So he actually has the ability to find weak points against his opponents and pretty much one-shot them, and he can choose what those weak points are. He chose the cursed object's leg. He ended up cutting off of his leg, pretty much beating him pretty good, and crumbling a bunch of crap on top of him. He basically blew up the buildings around him, because he can also do it to buildings, objects as well, as long as people and curses, cursed objects, etc. So what he ends up doing is getting hurt and kind of running away because he's in overtime, doesn't really want to be there, but he has a lot more power than we thought. But at the same time, I think even a grade 1 is not super strong compared to some of these OP curses. Jogo, I think, probably would have won against him fairly easily. The only reason this curse did not is because, one, he doesn't have a domain yet, does not have the ability to create one, although he kind of learns how to at the end of this episode. It's not a complete domain, but a domain nevertheless. And 2, he is young. We learn that he is a young curse, and he is torturing and killing all of these people. He's kind of slowly honing his craft, and give it a little bit of time, and eventually he will become a lot more powerful, a lot stronger, and he will definitely be a foe to be reckoned with, which is why Nanami is suggesting that probably somebody like Gojo step in and take care of this thing, because unless you get somebody higher up the chain to kill him, you're going to have a lot more deaths on your hand, inevitably. This was also kind of a nice, sweet episode, because Itadori, and I'm scrolling to his name here, if I can find it, Itadori and Yoshino, there we go, had to scroll down to his name there. They kind of become buddy-buddy in this. So, basically, the head of Itadori's current senpai that he's with, he is off doing his own thing, driving, trying to track down Itadori after the whole situation played up, possibly having to catch one of the extremely low-grade curses, and they get separated for quite a while. And Yoshino and Itadori kind of become friends, hit it off, talk about movies. They hang out with his mother, and things go downhill really bad. So one of either his or his mother's enemy dropped one of Sukuna's fingers off, or so we thought anyway, at his house, leading a curse object to come, and ultimately to kill his mother, unfortunately. His mother's a very nice woman. Yes, she smokes and drinks. At the same time, very nice to Itadori, invited them over. She was happy seeing her son happy, and she was just generally being a good mom, and she got killed for it. And that's really messed up, and that's what put Yoshino in a place to, by the looks of it, take powers from the curse in order to go after his enemies. The curse, actually, it was the one, or basically the guy with the scar on his head, who is still unnamed at this point in time. He is the one that gave the finger to the curse to put in his house in order to basically make a plan or something where he becomes evil. So now Itadori is in a spot where he has to determine whether or not he is going to kill a human. We get a little segment from him saying he doesn't think he could ever kill a human. But Nanami basically tells him at some point you're going to have to. There's really nothing you can do about it. It's going to happen at some point in time, whether you want it to or not. I mean, it's fine to live in childlike bliss as long as you can, pretty much, but it's inevitably going to happen. And we kind of end the episode with Itadori looking at Yoshino. Yoshino has one of his bullies up in the air, and this bullied other kids too, because he ended up winning a prize. He had somebody else do his homework, and the kid did too well, and ended up winning him a prize, which was really, really bad. Not good. He wasn't happy about it, and he was going to beat the kid up later. But then Yoshino used whatever his abilities are, knocked everybody out, all the students besides one teacher and one student, and he is trying to seek revenge because obviously he thinks that this person put the cursed object there and killed in order to kill his mother, as like some sort of, bully tactic, which isn't the case, because we'll actually learn that it was the curse that did it. The curse that Yoshino was actually thinking he became friends with. Well, guess what? You should have stuck with Itadori, because now your mother's dead, and now you're working for people that killed your mother. I don't know what exactly happened under his forehead, but I think what happened is the curse messed with his abilities a little bit, or force-fed him some curse energy, something along those lines. That would kind of make sense, where he's getting his new abilities from, because he's basically like friggin' force-holding this dude up in the air and kicking the crap out of him when he knocks him to the ground, and then Itadori kind of runs in at the last minute. So him and Itadori are inevitably going to have to fight, I think. Now he literally has nothing to live for anymore because his mother just died. His only friend, which is more of an acquaintance at this point, because they only hung out for like one day, even though they both seem pretty buddy-buddy with each other. Literally known him for a day. So, Ichidori being able to get to him through talking, I think is a very, very slim chance. I think it's basically Itadori is going to have to kill him. He's not going to have a choice. He's going to become a threat, a dark jujutsu sorcerer, and that's going to be all she wrote. Next episode with a preview, we're going to be getting something with Panda and some of the other classmates to a certain extent. It's a possibility we actually won't see what is happening with Itadori. It may be a completely different episode where we see more training for the exchange, the school exchange, what's eventually going to happen. I don't know freaking when. Seems like they mentioned it like 6 episodes ago, and it just hasn't happened, and I'm sitting here like, what the heck? Stop saying you're going to give me something and then divert it to a bunch of different things. It kind of reminds me of Naruto during the Chunin exams. So, basically the entire focus at the beginning of it, is obviously Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Team 7, and then they get through the Zabuza arc, and then they have the Chunin exams, and you see all these bunch of different people. I think it's kind of going to play out similarly to that. Because yes, we've kind of been introduced to other characters, but we don't really know a whole lot of information about them. Pretty much you got the 3 main characters, Itadori, Fujigomi, and girl's name, who I am forgetting. Let's scroll back up, I'll get her name. Kujisaki. And then obviously Gojo is kind of like Kakashi. So I'm getting a lot of Naruto-y vibes out of this. You get some Bleach vibes out of this too, obviously, with the demons and the curses, hollows, whatever the heck you want to call them, cursed spirits. All names that basically mean the same thing. Certain shows call them different things. So it is what it is. But this episode overall, I'm giving this a 6 out of 10. Not terrible, not great. Definitely one of the weaker episodes in the series. Not really a whole lot of going on. They gave us a tiny bit of action in the beginning, and then it kind of progressively got, more dialogue heavy as we went on. But I'm hoping they don't just like throw Yoshino away, or I'm hoping he doesn't just die, because we're putting in a lot of effort to his character development right now, and him meeting Itadori, then becoming friends, etc. So I hope it's not one of those things where they just like kill him and push him to the side or something. I hope at least he is in it for the rest of the season, hopefully, or at least even into next season. That would be nice to see, because it seems like it's going to be like an ongoing rivalry. They'll each slowly get stronger until one finally defeats the other. I could definitely see that happening with the show. Obviously Yoshino causing havoc, Itadori killing cursed spirits, cursed objects, whatever, doing what he has to do to get his job done, eating all the Sukuna fingers, and having fun in the process to a certain extent, but always having Yoshino in the back of his mind. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Yet again, 6 out of 10 for my rating for this one. My name is Steve Gray. Thank you for watching, and as always, Have a good one.